introduce you. My name is Hector Palala. I am from Guatemala. Guatemala has more than 23 indigenous languages alive, and surprisingly, we have those languages also spoken in Nebraska because of the communities who are moving towards the United States. My project is a Mayan language preservation project that is called Kmiksik para gritar, waving words to life. By integrating arts, technology, and community-based approach to create a curriculum that integrates basically the high school students' knowledge into interactive curriculum that can be used for their siblings who are in lower levels in the school, and their teachers can have this material as a support for those students who are also Mayan speakers, but they need also material to continue using their own language, right? But we don't have that. We don't have that material. So the idea is to use translanguaging, to use the language, because the students are speaking right now their Mayan language, Spanish, and now English. So we want to use those three languages in poetry to connect their stories, to connect their experiences from Guatemala, experiences in Nebraska, and what they think about their future. And so all those connections will be in a poem. So we want to explore how these art-based approaches can help us to preserve indigenous languages, and also how slam poetry. As you will know, slam poetry is well known now in North America, but in Guatemala, and I know in other Latin countries, la declamación. It's a very important art, and it's also a good skill to learn in school. So we call it declamación, and we have this declamación coreográfica that is kind of slam poetry when we use and connect music and other elements to enhance the poem in front of the audience. So I call it like slam poetry, and into this project plus social media for language advocacy. So we're going to use those poems into slam poetry, like this declamación coreográfica, into the social media for language advocacy. And also the high school students as a way of teaching them language preservation. So by writing, creating poems, and also performing the poetry, we will be learning about language advocacy and language preservation. That's the main idea. One of the languages spoken in Nebraska, in Wakefield, and this is small community in Nebraska, are Canjobal and Quiché. And we are going to be using Canjobal, Quiché, and Kikak-Chiquel, one of the languages I speak, to create these poems. And I have one example for you how the project will be like. It can be like this, or it will be changed accordingly to the students' ideas that we are working right now. Follow me. How this curriculum will look like, and it's like this one, and it's inspired by Humberto Acabal. Is one of the Mayan poets from Guatemala. And the name of the poem is From Time to Time, de vez en cuando, Curicá. Curicá, Ki Sol Comig Ri Nube. De vez en cuando camino al revés. Sha Heba Kinatizach Hun Hasach. Es mi modo de recordar. From time to time I walk backwards. It's my way of remembering. Sha Heba Kinatizach Hun Hasach. Recordar. Be tasha ta kolon. Kenbin cho nbach. Si caminaras solo hacia adelante, te podría contar cómo es el olvido. King Covinte Nek Auri Kimbich Shabeh Hasri Riu Chulach Ri Sachibal Holomah. If I were to talk only going forward, I could tell you what forgetting is. Has ri uchulach ri sachibal holomach. Muchas gracias. Okay, one of the frameworks we can be used to create this research can be social justice, indigenous language preservation, art-based community pedagogies, translanguaging, and the summer model to connect technology or social media, because we are thinking to use social media to expose the poems, the words in the Mayan language into the social media, and also use the narratives of their stories into this social media framework. We are also having the opportunity to participate in YPAR project into this high school. So there are a lot of blended research approaches that we are using to create this wonderful project. This is the main purpose, to preserve the language and to keep the language alive, and having the kids to be free to speak Mayan language, Cachiquel, Cajobal, or Cachiquel in these communities. This is a wonderful idea that can be replicated in other communities, in other indigenous language communities that want to preserve the language, or they want to create curriculum material. And they can start with poetry, and they can move on with other artistic ideas. Thank you for your attention.